Take a moment to look at this scene. A man and a woman, together yet worlds apart. His gaze is locked on her, but she's lying still, lifeless. At first glance, it might seem like a quiet moment, but the emotions here are loud. This is Manon Lescaut, painted by Maurice Leloir in 1892. And trust me, this is no love story with a happy ending. It's about a love so intense that it leaves nothing but heartbreak. This painting is inspired by a moment from Histoire de Chevalier de Grieux et de Manon Lescaut, a novel written in 1731 by Abbé Prévost. It tells the dramatic tale of de Grieux, a young nobleman, and Manon, his beautiful but complicated lover. Their relationship is full of passion, betrayal, and a love so destructive it leads them both to ruin. Manon's obsession with luxury drags them into a spiral of deception and heartbreak. De Grieux sacrifices everything to satisfy her desires, but their choices eventually catch up with them. They're exiled to the wilderness of Louisiana, where Manon dies from illness and exhaustion. This is where Leloir's painting takes place, at the edge of human endurance. De Grieux kneels beside Manon's lifeless body, overwhelmed with grief. It's the ultimate, for love I gave everything moment, except instead of a reward, de Grieux is left with nothing but loss. Maurice Leloir worked in a style called Realism. Basically, he painted things as they were, raw, emotional, and honest. No sugarcoating. The dirt, worn-out clothes, and barren landscape are as unfiltered as the emotions in this scene. Leloir wasn't just a painter though. He designed posters for operas, including Manon by Jules Massenet, a wildly popular production of the time. The opera's success may have inspired him to create this painting, giving it a cultural relevance the audiences of the time would recognize. The painting debuted at the 1892 Paris Salon, a major art exhibition, and later appeared at the Chicago World's Columbian Exposition in 1893, a massive event where millions of people were introduced to new art, culture, and ideas. Let's break down what's happening here. Manon is lying in what looks like a shallow grave. Her elegant dress, once a symbol of her love for beauty and luxury, now feels painfully out of place in this desolate setting. Its rich fabric and delicate folds are a reminder of the life she craved, one of luxury and elegance. But here, it's symbolic of irony, all that wealth, and none of it could save her. Her face is peaceful, almost angelic, which only makes it sadder. Her struggle is over, but for de Grieux, it's just beginning. Beside her, de Grieux is kneeling. His clothes are tattered, his arm is bloodied, and his posture screams heartbreak. He's not just kneeling, he's collapsing. His body language says everything his face doesn't. The weight of loss has knocked him down. His hands are clinging to her like he's trying to hold on to what's already gone. If you've ever felt grief like that, you know it's not something you can just move on from. The barren landscape around them, dry, empty, and lifeless, reflects the hopelessness of the moment. No vibrant flowers, no blue skies, just the emptiness of loss. Leloir packed this painting with details that hit hard. The pit where they're sitting feels like a grave, symbolizing not just Manon's death, but the death of their love, dreams, and everything they fought for. The hollow space has an eerie stillness, like it's waiting to be filled, mirroring the hole left in de Grieux's heart. Her dress is not just clothing, it's a symbol. Her obsession with luxury drives her every decision, even when it leads to her downfall. In death, the dress serves as a reminder that material wealth has no meaning in the face of mortality. The blood on his sleeve tells us he's been through hell, fighting for her, for them. His wounds aren't just physical, they're emotional too. Every scar on his body represents a battle he fought for Manon, and now he's left to face the pain alone. The barren wilderness isn't just a setting, it's a metaphor for de Grieux's inner world. Everything he loved is gone, and now he's stranded in emptiness. No lush forests, no signs of life, just the hollow, desolate reflection of his grief. What makes this painting even more interesting is how it connects to its time. In the late 19th century, stories about tragic women or fallen women were everywhere in art, literature, and opera. These women often faced judgment from society for their choices. But Leloir doesn't judge Manon. He paints her as human, flawed, fragile, and deserving of empathy. Grieux, too, isn't just some obsessive lover. He's a man destroyed by love, caught in a moment of pure despair. It's rare to see male grief depicted so raw and vulnerable. Instead of showing him as a hero or a man of action, Leloir shows him as he is, broken, exhausted, and deeply human. This moment, by the way, isn't just in the original novel. It's also in the opera by Puccini, which premiered in 1893. Leloir's painting bridges the gap between the novel and the operatic interpretations, making the story feel timeless. Art, literature, and music were all telling the same story at the same time, making it feel larger than life. What makes this painting so powerful is how it taps into universal themes: love, sacrifice, and the pain of losing someone you can't imagine living without. It's not just a story from 1731, it's a story about what it means to give everything for love, only to lose it all. It reminds us that love isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's messy, heartbreaking, and leaves you with nothing but memories and tears. And yet, we keep loving anyway. Maybe that's the point. Love, even when it hurts, is still worth it. So, what's the takeaway? Manon Lescaut isn't just a tragic love story. It's a story about what happens when passion and devotion collide with reality. Leloir doesn't just paint two people. He painted love in its rawest, most powerful form, the kind that stays with you long after it's gone. If you've ever lost someone you loved, you might feel a little of what Grieux is feeling here. It's the kind of grief that leaves you hollow, stuck in a moment you can't move past. And that's why this painting resonates. It's not just about Manon and Grieux, it's about us too. What do you think about this painting? Does knowing the story behind it change how you see it? Do you feel sorry for Manon and Grieux, or do you think their choices led them here? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who loves art and stories as much as you do. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind.